Hey guys, I'm so excited to really bring you these two amazing women in the cannabis space. I have looked up to both of them. They're very inspiring. Just picking their brains is all I need. That's all I need. So I cannot wait for you guys to really see and hear their stories and just basically how they're dominating, and they're boss chicks too. So, and on that note,
Thank
I want to
you.
introduce Rosie Soliz, who is a brand ambassador, but so much more. She's a thought leader in the space, and she's really, really inspirational. So anybody that's trying to break in the industry, and she works with a whole bunch of brands, right? Free Cannabis
Yes.
with one of them. Yeah.
Yes. Cannabis
And
Co.
I want to introduce my dear, dear friend. I feel like I know her. She's my spirit animal slash person. I met her at MJ Biz, and I mean, immediately we had a connection. So I want to introduce Helene Blanchette, and she is the president of MyJane, which is one of my favorite brands out there.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Nice to be here, guys.
Thank you for being here. I would like, starting with Rosie, just tell the audience about yourself and how you started in the industry, and what are you doing exactly now in the industry?
I've been smoking at a very young age. Both of my parents come from marijuana backgrounds. And my dad was actually I was a nurse before I got in the industry, and then my dad got cancer in about 2006, and really after that was offered my first cannabis job, traditional, at a shop in 2008, and that's where I learned everything that I learned. And just been going along with it and working numerous other shops, and got onto the vending side, and now I'm here today.
Awesome. It doesn't sound that exciting, guys, but it is. She was a nurse, for goodness sake, and now she's working in cannabis. That's another example how you can apply your skill set, apply what you do into the cannabis industry. And that's just a testimony onto, you know, how successful you can be in the industry. And I want to kind of go over to Helen right now, and you tell me your journey and how you got into the space.
Yeah, so I guess like everybody else, when I was younger, I was smoking, but I stopped that for many, many, many years because I was in the corporate world. So I've been in the corporate world for quite a long time, and up until last October, I was a global vice president of Xerox. So such a different world, right? And then, but you know, my husband a few years back had started into the industry, so I was, you know, following with an eye on, oh, I would do this, I would do that, I would do this, and constantly, you know, putting my nose into his business, saying I would do this, and I would do that. My habits, and then and then I discovered, you know, the world, and that it was no longer just flowers, but it was just another world of fabulous products that had a lot of medicinal aspect to it. And then in October, I had the opportunity, I was asked if I would join MyJane and really turn it around, restructure it, and push it forward. And I just literally jumped. I thought, yes, it ticks all the boxes for me. It is a brand for women, run by women, for the wellness of women. And obviously, for me, I even brought along to tie it to a woman charity that I have been supporting, which is helping women that are survivors of human trafficking. So it really
wow. I didn't know that.
Yes, it linked it all together, and now, I mean, I feel that we've done quite a complete circle with how we can support women, because I've been doing that all through my career.
That is awesome.
I really like that, because that's like very inspiring. Because MyJane is an amazing box, period. And it just got acquired, right, by Manifest 7,
My
which
manifest.
is an amazing company in the cannabis space. And I highly respect them. I highly respect the whole process and the whole business of MyJane and the way you guys do it. Just to give people insight on MyJane, can you explain to them? I know there's a box behind you, but can you explain to them exactly what it is?
Mhm. So we do curation of the best products on the market. We favor women-owned brands. We did the curation of products that are aimed at addressing women's needs and wellness needs. So we had a survey done that was with about 42,000 women in California to understand what are the concerns or their needs. And it was really about sleep, it was about pain, it was about romance, and it was about, some of the problems that we go through in life. So we decided to really curate by theme like this. So we have a dream box to address the sleep problems in the CBD side, but we have two businesses. We have the MyJane.com for CBD and the MyJaneCannabis.com for the side that has a THC. So the way we curate usually is we're going to do a theme, for instance, Dream Box in CBD and Sleep Box, which has a deeper meaning in THC. We have also a Romance Box, for instance, in CBD, and we have the Passion Box in THC. So we always have that nomenclature that has a deeper meaning in THC. But what we really do is we do all the homework for the consumer out there, because as you've mentioned a few times today, I mean, it's a bit of a Wild West,
Yeah.
West out there. So, you have people that are trying to make it into a business and doing it in their garage, not necessarily looking at where the plant comes from and the quality of. So we do all of the research, we do all the testing, the trial also. We have over 200 experienced advisors that try the products and give us feedback and ratings. And then from all of that data, we decide on who's going to be in the box and what are we going to have in that box.
Wow, that's amazing, and that's why I really liked it. I like it because for me, I'm a mom, a business owner, entrepreneur, and I rarely get sleep. And it's like I like that sleep box is like everything to me. So having all the products in one box that I can try is amazing. Now, Rosie, I know you're more on the flower side and live resin. I tried your product on the podcast. You guys can check it out, episode 2, and it was amazing. Can you tell me more about Free Cannabis and the other brands that you work with and how you bringing them more to the forefront right now?
Yeah, so Free Cannabis Co. is more geared towards the vaping experience. So we have a line of our live resin cartridges, and we have a line of our cured live resin cartridges, which we considered is more like it's more aged, like 60, 90 days. So it's like fine wine. And then we have our diamonds, which are also live resin. And we were trying to gear at the time when we brought these cartridges and we were coming up with the Free Cannabis co-brand. We wanted to gear more towards a lower end for people that can actually afford cartridges now that taxes have been placed and the prices have jumped and have skyrocketed almost, it feels like so it's pretty affordable for those that are looking to maybe get flower and a vape and their money's worth. More so on that end. We also have our Centurion line, which is our water clear base, and we have various SKUs within that line. We have like 1-to-1 CBDs. We have
I love 1-to-1 CBDs. Oh my gosh. It makes me feel like a lot of people don't know it, but instead of taking the Xanax or the prescription drugs, you could take some cannabis and like that 1-to-1, it's like almost equal to a Xanax. Like if you have that, you like mellow all the way out. And that's what I really wanted to do with She Blazing, is normalize that. And it's like women
Right.
like you guys are bringing that to the forefront. And are you taking those steps with your brands that you are brand ambassador for to normalize that with women? Or do you have any charity programs that you are attached to as far as that goes?
I currently don't right now. We are still fairly new. We just did a soft launch at Hall of Flowers, September
Congratulations.
2019. Thank you. Centurion is one of our eldest products, but we did revamp it after all the vaping stuff was going on with the bad vapes, and more or less like the traditional side from it, trying to gear away from it.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll probably get into that, and that's why like I'm so glad and I'm thankful for you, and thankful
Thank
for
you.
Laura for bringing me aboard, because it helps network with women like Helene and other women that are in the industry, to bring to light some of these charities that they're involved. Maybe we can get involved in them. You know, we are for that. I know as far as like the bud tenders go, there's not a whole light shed on the bud tenders, and they're a big part of our industry.
Yeah.
You know, I did bud tending for like 12
Tell us about it. Tell us what is a bud tender? Tell us about it.
So a bud tender is like a bartender. But you go into your local cannabis shop or your favorite one, and that's going to be the person that's going to take care of all your needs. You know, if they're going to pinpoint on what you need your medication for. And there's some people that, you know, just probably like smoking. So we're probably, I'm sorry, I got stuck for a second.
It's okay. It's a Sunday.
Right,
it's all good.
So yeah, so with being a bud tender, you know, when I got out of it, it was after the traditional market. So on the traditional side, there wasn't a whole lot of light shed on that, because of the fact that, you know, it was still taboo to a lot of people. It wasn't legal. But now we have like award ceremonies and stuff like that kind of like
different.
geared towards those people, because they're, you know, they get to know you as a patient. They're the ones who see your faces every day. You see their faces every day. And sometimes when a person is having a bad day, they look forward to actually going to their favorite shop and talking to either the one person that normally serves them, or just everybody there in general, you know. So
now I want to get into the meat and potatoes of women dominating executive positions, because
yes,
no matter what anybody tell you, this is a man's industry. Okay. and we have to, as women, we have to fight almost twice as hard to get in, like to really be respected. Helene, I have a question from Madison that emails me this morning, and she says, how were you able to get into an executive position coming from a non-cannabis brand transferring to a cannabis brand? How did that happen? Like, were you just totally accepted, or how did you get in there? I mean, I know your husband was already doing it, but.
Are you talking to me? Yes?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, good. Well, I mean, MyJane is a woman's brand. I mean, that would be quite odd that it would be led by a man, I think. What I guess they were looking for is someone that would have that executive and that corporate knowledge that can be brought to the industry. Because at the end of the day, you said it, it's a business, right? It is a business. So therefore, we need to really try to put a structure. When a company is growing, you need to be able to put that structure in place, and that's what they were looking for in that transformative aspect of the business. So I guess I wouldn't see anybody else but a woman at this position, quite frankly.
Oh yeah, I agree too. And also, just apply. Like you already was executive at Xerox, and
In a
you know, you
printing
just
world, so which is a very male-dominating.
yeah,
industry, right?
exactly. I mean, like I feel like every corporate industry is male dominated. I mean, we went from women being caretakers and and homemakers to us getting into the market, and now we're like starting to be respected within those respected fields. And now here we are in cannabis. It's the same thing. It's like applying your skills. For me, marketing wise, it's like I got into the business and I just went head first, and it was you know, and nobody could tell me anything when it came to what I do. And I just learned the business. And I feel like if you really have a passion for the business and you mix with your already skill set, I think that you can be very successful in this business as long as you just focus.
Yes, and I think that what the reality of what I see in the industries resemble, I lived 10 years in Asia, and when I look at Asia, Asia is a male-dominating continent that is
Mm-hmm.
ran actually by women. It's just that women have, if women would stop working in Asia, everything would stop. Everything
Wow.
would stop. From you know, from Thailand, the Philippines, from Vietnam, from Indonesia, anywhere you look in Asia, it's women that run the place. But the chief executive officer is a man, right? It's a
Mm-hmm.
man-dominated industry. So what I see in this industry that is very similar is that women are actually building micro businesses. So a lot of small, micro and mid-sized businesses, the big jobs or the big companies are still dominated by men. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it has
Agreed.
to do with you know, women's personality in general, where you know, taking care of the family, maybe less of a
Pay
sharp
attention to detail,
detail.
organization.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
so
yeah.
many benefits. Oh, listen, Obama said it best. He said, why are you running your business? You should have a woman running it. Like, come on. We're the best at what we do. But do
Right.
you guys feel like you had to fight twice as hard, especially Rosie? Did you have to fight twice as hard to be respected as a bud tender and a brand ambassador? Like, so when you walk into stores, to dispensaries to sell products, to get orders, do you feel like they look at you like, oh, what are you doing here? Like, shouldn't it be a man or something? Like, do you feel that kind of stigma?
It depends on the shops that I walk into or the types of shops and who they're ran by. But definitely, I definitely feel like that, especially I don't use, for myself, I don't use a lot of like my femininity or my sexual side as to my advantage as other women do in the industry. So sometimes it can be, but that's just because I demand my respect and I demand
Mm-hmm.
be heard as a woman that knows what she's talking about, and the pride that I have in the brands that I represent for.
And
I
that's
don't
one thing that we touched on before is before you get into the industry, do your research. Like, do your
right.
research, know what you're talking about. You, especially for you, Rosie, you're going into dispensaries, and I mean, if they ask you a question, you don't know it, they're gonna just throw you out of there. So
Oh yeah,
it's like,
definitely.
you know, it's a real like doggy world out there for you,
It
especially.
is.
And but I respect you, and I respect your grind, because it is a grind, and trying to get your products in these different dispensaries it's a struggle, because they're seeing so many people a day and there's so many brands.
Yes.
I told a story earlier that when I first moved to the West Coast, it was I went into a dispensary for the first time, and it was so many brands. I got so overwhelmed with everything. I'm like, what do I choose?
Yes.
Helen, Helen, how do you differentiate MyJane from other boxes and from other products that you're like yours on the market?
Well, as mentioned, it's multiple products in a box, right? It's multiple products from different brands, and it is meant to be an experience. And it's meant to try at low cost those
Mm-hmm.
products to see which one works best for you or overlay well. And then once you know that, because you've experienced it, I mean, our boxes are extremely cheap when you think of, you have 6 or 7 products and for $89, which is usually the price of one of those items that you have in the box, because we work with the brands to have either travel size or sizes that experiential sizes. And then people are able to try the best and then just reorder the ones that they really want. And I think that that's what the goal of MyJane was from the beginning, is provide quality products and a choice to try and to see what fits you best. And that,
Yeah.
that's the little mini dispensary in the box, right?
In the box. That's what I really liked about it too. And for you, Rosie, how do you feel like you make the product stand out when you're going to these shops to pitch them to sell your product?
Definitely product knowledge one, which I'm familiar with all our products. We also have our own distillery, and we resource all our own oil and flour. So I know what goes into our products, which makes me that much more confident when I'm going in there to present them to the buyers or the purchasers or managers. And then really it's just research, going on to the shop pre-hand and seeing what they're missing. Obviously price is a big point too, that can differentiate us from others. So when I go in there, I have a little ammo to back up and be able to say, well, this is why.
Like, no, this is different. This is different. Yes. This is not the same thing.
Especially right now because of the coronavirus. Ours is, much affordable than some of the other brands out on the market right now. And it's just as top quality as some of the other brands, maybe even better than some. So it's easier to just kind of go in there and say, hey, this is why you want, our product on there, because some people aren't working right now. They don't know if they're going to be working.
Yeah, this is a trying time right now.
Future holds, right? We're on another 30 days till the end of April, and there's talk it might go all the way to August, it might go all the way to September. So people are still going to want, their medication, whether it's recreational or because they really actually need it. So they're going to want their buck,
Yep.
their buck.
I agree. It's trying times right now. So the better your product is, the better you have chances of standing out right now.
Right.
Because it's a dog world right now. I have a question for Helen in the Facebook chat group we have. It's from Lindsay Cross. Oh, no, I already answered that question. Sorry. It's from Lala Jane. Helen, how do you choose women business owners who would like to work with you in order to build their business models and introduce their product services to the community?
It's a good question, and we have that question often, right? So we have to have like a big set of criteria to be able to do the first, I would say the first sorting, the first filter. So that's available on our website at MyJane Cannabis, at myjane.com. You have a vendor selection that you can, like you can apply as a vendor. It has, are you willing to do this, and that? Do you meet this criteria? And if so, then your second selection is you send the product and we put them into our experience advisor program. They test it, and then once it's tested, then if it fits obviously with the theme box that we're going to bring to market, then you could be selected, right? So obviously we do get a lot of brands, but we, like I said, we favor women's brand. And if you meet all the criteria, everybody has equal possibilities or opportunities to be in the box. We don't favor political or anything like that. It's all fair play.
Yeah, I like that. And I like the fact that you guys are not putting just any brands in there. You trust it, you recommend it, because at the end of the day, it's your name, it's your brand, it's your face, and you have to stand by it. So I appreciate that, because so many times we're just thrown brands in our face because we don't know any better and we just go with it, and it's not completely tested, or it is not good for you. You know, that's where the whole vaping thing started, and people started dying. Of course, if it was on the black market, but it still affected us in the cannabis industry a lot.
A whole lot.
I've seen some brands that went under for that.
Yeah.
And not because their brand was the one, but it was because people started not trusting vapes.
Right.
And if you have a company like MyJane that their products is meets a certain guidelines and you can trust it. That knowing that is very assuring. So we appreciate you for that. And Rosie, and I want to just wrap up. I'm gonna ask the Facebook group for any questions. If you have any questions, just put it in there right now. We're about to wrap up. I wanted to ask you guys, you ladies, any advice you have for aspiring women coming into the cannabis industry, whether they're accountants, marketers, whatever they're doing, and now they want to apply it to the cannabis industry. Can you give those ladies some advice?
I can start. I mean, I think it's like in any industry, you should never change more than 3 things when you change it, right? And then this morning, there was some good advice in saying, first research it, put 6 months salary or to a year's salary aside, because it's not going to be just an easy thing to do if you're trying to start your business. If you're trying to join a company, then I would say, yeah, if you're joining a company because there's a job opening, you should do it if it's first in your line of business and not necessarily something that would be totally off, where you would have to learn the industry and learn your job at the same time, which is always a little bit stressful in any industries. So I think that you gotta, sort of go sideways and then start, getting so much knowledge that you can be more flexible and have a broader experience. Because I mean, things like that we're living now, for instance, is extremely difficult for everybody. Don't think that we're all like thriving, because we're all suffering right now. We're all, being putting all of our brains to work and doing adaptive things. These are the kind of things that could happen once you change industry. Yeah, they could be an up and down. So you got to be ready and not just blindly jump.
Right.
Agreed. Well said. Rosie?
Definitely agree on do your research. See the companies that you want to work for. There's a lot of brands out there. There's a lot of dispensaries and collectives out there. And there's so many categories to this industry. There's growing, there's bud tending, there's management, executive positions, there's sales, there's brand ambassading. So really just do your knowledge and see where it is that you feel like you'll be able to either fit in, or maybe even bring some of your professional skills with you to this industry. Branding is a big one that you've expressed to me the first time we met that you got into. It's huge coming from the traditional market where, we didn't have any of that, some years ago, where now branding is almost like everything, just as well as the quality and the testing that goes into everything. So definitely just do your research, push your way in, don't be over dominated by men. And the fact that we have all these beautiful and glorious other skillful women in this industry is great. Don't be afraid to reach out to other women and say, hey, I've been following you for a while.
That's very, very true. Yeah.
Yeah, I see something's going on for you, working for you. What is it that you're doing? Maybe that can help me in the area that I'm trying to get into. It's rare that I find any women that are harsh in this industry.
I agree. And I also have a piece of advice as well. I have a piece of advice as well, like we mentioned in the beginning sessions. Just talk to other people. Really, really just know that the grass is not greener on the other side.
Right.
If you think that you're going to come into cannabis and it's going to be this, oh my God, it's so beautiful, and we're just at events all the time, and it's the glitz and the glamour goes away after the first 5 minutes, okay?
Yeah.
It's like any other industry. You have to work hard, especially to hold executive positions. You have to demand your voice in this industry. And if you're really serious about joining the industry, reach out to other women like us. I'll make our emails available so you can ask any questions to us. We're here for you. The She Blazing community is here for you, and we wish you nothing but the best. With that said, if you ladies can plug in your information, like where we can find you on Instagram or LinkedIn. Oh yeah, LinkedIn. Use LinkedIn. Use LinkedIn. You can reach anybody on LinkedIn.
I need a
Any industry. Like the days of networking outside are over. We're with Corona right now. Use LinkedIn as your benefit. Use it as your networking platform. Trust me, I met everybody that I need to know in cannabis on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So with that said, please plug where we can find you at. And we're in the session after that.
Okay. Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You go.
First of all, so it's myjanecannabis.com for the CBD, myjanecannabis.com for the THC, myjane.com for the CBD, at MyJane Social for any of our social platforms. And on April 23rd, we're going to launch and offer pretty much all the women at home the possibility of trying to be a little bit in the business of cannabis. So more to come on this.
Yes.
And we're trying to find ways to really help women, especially right now that have lost their job or that have a family to support. And we're going to expand our business reach to them.
Thank you. Helene, I'll be reaching out to you personally. And then if you want to reach out to Free Cannabis Co. and learn more about our Centurion products, our loaded products, and our 1940 LA body products, which Helene, you might be interested in, you can go to www.freecannabisco.com. If you need just a delivery service, we partnered up with Nugstar, Nugstar. And then for IG, if you have any questions for me about anything, I'm at Rose_Bud_818. Or the Free Cannabis Co. is at Free Cannabis Co. Centurion is at Centurion. And then Loaded is at Loaded, and 1940 LA is at 1940 LA.
Yes. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. I always look up to you guys in the industry. I can't wait to see the amazing, big things, great things that you guys do. I'm going to be following. Helen, please share with us that link whenever you launch that program, because I'm pretty sure our ladies in that's looking over this live video is going to be wanting to get more information on that. Yes. And please stay tuned for our next discussion, which starts at 2:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And that is going to be on creating a cannabis brand and empire. With that, it's going to be amazing. So bye, guys. Thanks, ladies.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.